지금 진짜로 이상한 게 뭔 것 같아.
A moment that'll go down in Hollywood history thanks to South Korean director Bong Joon Ho. His film Parasite was the first non-English language feature to win Best Picture at the Oscars this year. And for more on the highlights of the 92nd Academy Awards, our film critic Lisa Nesselson has defied the international time zones separating Los Angeles and Paris and has been following the ceremony for us. Hi, Lisa.
Hello, Olivia.
Now let's start with the big news of the night, the unstoppable Parasite.
Absolutely. You know, Bong got his Golden Palme, the top prize at the Cannes Film Festival, from the hands of Catherine Deneuve, and he got his Oscar from Jane Fonda. So I think if you want to meet classy female film icons of a certain age on two continents, then go ahead and become as good a filmmaker as Bong has been for years. People are just discovering him now, but he has a great body of work. Parasite is an insanely successful success story, a box office hit wherever it's been shown, and people everywhere love this darkly sardonic tale of a poor, tight-knit family that infiltrates a much better off, also tight-knit family. Let's see, how well has it done? Well, it's brought in $30 million to date in the U.S., where $1 million is pretty much considered good for a foreign language film. Here in France, it has sold 1.6 million tickets. In France, we count tickets sold, not money made. And it is the most successful Korean film in Korea to date. So here are a few people there telling us what they appreciate about it.
This kind of thing is a huge national celebration. I want to thank director Bong Joon Ho and all the actors and actresses. This is wonderful.
Now people know the dark side of our country. So I do feel a little ashamed and embarrassed about that. But I think it's important that people in other countries are more aware of us, South Korea. So I am thankful.
Now, Parasite, as it stands, is in color, but it turns out Bong is a huge fan of classic black and white films. And starting February 19th here in France, they're going to make his dream come true by re-releasing the film in black and white.
Oh, I will definitely be rushing to the cinema to see that a second time then. Well, let's take a look at the film, which won Bong Joon Ho the Best Director Oscar, the Best Original Screenplay, Best International Feature, and Best Picture.
우리 다솜이는 완전 예술 가지질인데.
침팬지를 그린 거죠?
자화상이에요.
역시.
그동안 미술쌤도 여러 명 바꿔가면서 해봤는데요.
제가 사람 하나가 휙 하고 떠올랐는데.
아 잠깐. 제시카 외동딸 일리노이 시카고 과선배는 김진모 그는 이사촌.
So with 4 prizes, Parasite came out on top with the most awards. But beyond that, the Academy spread the wealth around somewhat, giving a few different films just one award. Sam Mendes' 1917 did very well as well. That was a winner. And that film's been picking up awards elsewhere in the last few weeks, at the BAFTAs, the Golden Globes.
Yes, it got 3 Oscars, 1917, all acknowledging the dazzling technical prowess on display. Cinematography for genius lighting director Roger Deakins, plus sound mixing and visual effects. The absolutely splendid Ford versus Ferrari, a fact-inspired tale of automobile design rivals, won sound editing and picture editing. And the winners sadly pointed out that this will be the last film ever to be made at 20th Century Fox because Disney bought the venerable studio and renamed it. Adapted screenplay went to Jojo Rabbit for reasons that remain a mystery to me. Little Women won for costumes, but the real prize is that that film has surpassed $100 million just at the U.S. box office,
Wow.
which for a costume drama about the aspirations of young females seems to just prove a lot of received wisdom about what people do and don't want to see at the movies. Joaquin Phoenix, of course, Best Actor for Joker, and he gave a speech that was very wide-ranging. First, he said that we are incredibly cruel to animals. We take newborn calves away from their mother cow, and then we steal their milk to put it in our coffee and our cereal. But then he came out and admitted that he's been a jerk for much of his professional lifetime and that he's trying to do better. And he's extremely thankful to the people who have given him a second chance in life and in work, because he believes that we're not at our best when we try to cancel each other just because someone has behaved badly. So,
Indeed, yeah. Joaquin Phoenix has been using these award ceremonies as something of a platform for his opinions recently. Well, if you didn't see it at the cinema, here is a short clip of a performance you may have heard about from Joaquin Phoenix in Joker.
Arthur, I have some bad news for you. This is the last time we'll be meeting.
You don't listen, do you? You just ask the same questions every week. How's your job? Are you having any negative thoughts? All I have are negative thoughts.
Well, from Joaquin Phoenix to another leading man, Brad Pitt won his first Oscar for Best Supporting Actor in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Quentin Tarantino's film. He is the sort of performer that you'd imagine already had an Oscar.
you would. He's a delight to watch as a laid-back stuntman, but it turns out his only previous Oscar was as a producer of Best Picture winner 12 Years a Slave. He said that he'd been thinking about his career lately, and he's been thinking back to the day he put his meager possessions in his car and went out to Los Angeles. And he didn't even say the title, Thelma and Louise. He just said that Ridley and Gina gave him a shot, and anyone who saw that movie remembers his 8 or 9 minutes of screen time. And so that leap of faith evolved into Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, indeed. As moviegoers, it's always nice, I think, when incredible physical beauty and genuine talent happen to coincide in the same person, male or female. The film also won for production design and set decoration for its seamlessly convincing recreation of Los Angeles in 1969. We don't use the term Hollywood heartthrob much anymore, but Mr. Pitt qualifies. Here he is in his humble splendor in the film.
I'm Rick Dalton. It's my pleasure, Mr. Schwartz.
Call me Marvin. Put it there. That your son?
No, it's my stunt double, Cliff Booth.
Last night we watched a Rick Dalton double feature. All the shooting. I love that stuff, you know, the killing.
A lot of killing.
Anybody order fried sauerkraut? Burn, you Nazi bastards!
Now, Rene Zellweger won Best Actress for her portrayal of razzle-dazzle entertainer Judy Garland in Judy. And in her acceptance speech, she thanked her immigrant folks who came here with not much more than each other, which is much like last year's Best Actor acceptance speech by Rami Malek, who pointed out that he's a first-generation American. So take that, bigoted xenophobes. Bombshell won makeup and hairstyling for the incredible feat of transforming Charlize Theron into Megyn Kelly, Fox News anchor, and Nicole Kidman into Fox News anchor Gretchen Carlson. Martin Scorsese's The Irishman was shut out, and Marriage Story only won one award, but a good one, supporting actress for Laura Dern as an extraordinarily effective, terrifying divorce lawyer. So both were produced by Netflix, and that means the Academy is still sort of holding streaming services at bay.
Okay. Well, and as you mentioned, beyond these headline-grabbing prizes, Best Actor, Best Actress, there are also the important technical moments of recognition, like for example, Best Score. Composer Hilda Gunsdotter won Best Score for The Joker.
Yes, this very eerie musical thing she came up with. And she did a touching coda where she just encouraged any girls out there who want to create, go out there and create. Speaking of women inspiring other women to be creative, Gal Gadot and Brie Larson, who have recently played superheroes, were on stage with Sigourney Weaver to thank her for blazing trails as Ripley in Alien back in 1979. I can tell you how jaw-droppingly empowering it was to see this woman do everything. I would have, though, the musical numbers, just like get rid of them. Get the alien that comes out of the stomach to eat them because...
Now, sadly for us here in France, there was no statuette in the category of international feature. Many of us here had our hopes pinned on French film Les Misérables for that prize.
Yes, but Parasite took that slot. But you know what? It's an absolute record. 22 nominations at the Oscars, all categories together, for films that had their world premiere at the Cannes Film Festival here in France. So they know what they're doing.
Thank you so much for that roundup, Lisa. We'll leave you with the French film that missed out on Best International Feature, but picked up a handful of Lumière Awards here in France, Ledgerly's Les Misérables. Do remember you can get more movie news and more arts and culture on our website, and you can keep up with us on social media too. There's more news coming up on France 24 just after this.
Putain! La galère, c'est qu'il y a un drone qui nous a filmés.
Qu'est-ce que tu me parles de gérer un drone, là? Il y a un gamin inconscient, là.
C'est qu'on peut faire tomber la BAC avec cette vidéo si on veut.
C'est quoi votre problème à vous? C'est quoi votre putain de problème? C'est moi la loi!
Donc t'es en train de m'expliquer quoi, là? C'est un accident?
Les petits nous lâchent pas depuis tout à l'heure.
C'est pas de votre faute. Comme d'hab, quoi. Les filles avaient raison d'exprimer leur colère. Seul moyen de se faire entendre aujourd'hui.
Tu vas trop loin, là!
T'auras jamais l'esprit bac, toi.